Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Alex. For those of you who don't know me, I am an apostate. I used to be the director of public book sales at the Church of Scientology in London, and now I talk about my experiences and give others a platform to do so as well. There's some great interviews lined up that will be coming very soon, so stay tuned for that over the next few days and weeks. But in this video, I wanted to talk a little bit about perhaps the most recent Scientology news, which is something that happens every year. The Super Bowl, obviously, for those of you who aren't American, it's a really big thing, sporting event over in the US. The NFL is kind of the finale. It's like the World Cup, but of NFL. And this happens every year, and one of the key landmark moments in Scientology's calendar every year is their advert that they release and play at the Super Bowl every year. Now, this is something that costs millions of dollars to run on televisions and on the internet, etc., across the US. Now, they don't pay the large fees for nationwide campaigns. They target these ads on local TV stations in local areas across the states where there are large populations of Scientologists. So, for example, if there was a Scientology org in LA, which there is, that's a really big Scientology population area, same as Clearwater in Florida, they'll run Super Bowl ads in these areas, but perhaps not some smaller town or city in the Midwest where there are no Scientology orgs. The guise that is given within Scientology is that this is a really big marketing campaign that gets lots of people into the church and is to spread awareness about what Scientology does. But in reality, it's actually more of a celebration and a showing off to existing Scientologists that look how great we are and how much we're growing and what we're doing. And we have this big ad because we're this big, huge religion that is the fastest growing in the world, is what they say. And that's why they target it in areas there are already lots of Scientologists rather than areas where there are no Scientologists, which is what you would do in a marketing campaign if you're trying to get more people in, right? So anyway, this happened yesterday. They broadcast the Super Bowl ad for 2023. So I wanted to start off just by, let's just play that video. It's only a minute long, minute 30 seconds. So let's just watch that a second, and we will talk about it shortly.
If you think that all is lost, that every dream has faded, that the last light of hope is gone, think again. It's there within you, something that can never die. You can live again. The power. Live again. To rise.
I just need to pause it here for 1 second and just make a note here that Scientology ads used to use real Scientologists and staff members and people who were active in their religion, but they stopped doing this some years back because people kept leaving, so they didn't want to then use the footage of them to promote the church when those same people were speaking out against the church. So now for their adverts and public video footage that they use actors. These are paid extras. These people are not Scientologists. It's a mixture of stock footage and footage that they've captured of people they have paid to pretend to be Scientologists just for the purpose of the advert.
To create. To live again. You can because nothing is more powerful than you.
Okay, so there we go. So that's Scientology's advert for this year. One big comment I did have is in this section here where they're showing the e-meter, right? Is it just me, or is that CGI? Right, I had a look at this earlier. If you zoom in, obviously the quality's not great. I am streaming it in HD, don't know why it's not amazing. But that looks pretty CGI to me. Right? Like, I don't know if it's just the lighting or what, but I think it's the skin. I think it's that lady's skin that just doesn't quite look real. And and the movement, that was it, the movement of her hands. Watch the way her hands move in this bit. Did you see that? I don't know, maybe it's just me, but that looks like CGI to me. But regardless, that is Scientology's advert this year that they streamed yesterday. Obviously, it's got 2.1 million views because they paid for this to be advertised and broadcast across social networks. So that's all paid for views, and also I'm pretty sure they pay for subscribers and viewers and stuff anyway. But that's the advert that they put out yesterday. Among other things that Scientology did yesterday, I personally think that this is a bit of a landmark. And I'd like to remember this moment in history because I'm surprised it hasn't happened already, to be honest. But yesterday on Twitter, there was... Let me just put you back here. Hi. Yesterday on Twitter, there was quite a lot of action around the time of the Super Bowl halftime, and these adverts started coming out. There was a flurry of people tweeting, did I just see a Scientology advert? You know, was that Scientology advertising? And me and a few others like Mark Headley, Chris Shelton, Claire Headley, and obviously Aaron Smith-Levin from Growing Up in Scientology, we were all active on Twitter and wanted to be a part of the action and share some real truth and knowledge about what Scientology actually is, and also just, you know, interact with the bots, because normally Scientology pay for bots to tweet lots during these times, spreading false information about suppressive people like Mark and Claire Headley and Aaron Smith-Levin and Chris Shelton. Yesterday, the activity wasn't as much as perhaps I'd expected. There were only about 8 accounts that were fairly new, that were sharing links to Stand League articles, which is the website that Scientology have set up to discredit former members and people who have left. So there wasn't a great deal of activity from Scientology's standpoint. However, there was activity from us. So if you don't already follow me on Twitter, go check me out, just Apostate Alex, and you'll see the barrage of tweets that I was putting out last night trying to spread some truth about Scientology and sharing some links to my videos. But the point is, I reached a milestone moment on Twitter yesterday, which I thought was just fantastic. I only have about 10 followers on my Apostate Alex Twitter account, so it really doesn't make a big mark on Scientology, but the fact that they are so scared of this small account, little me, sharing a few tweets last night, they have blocked me. So this is something they do quite a lot. A lot of people in my position who are speaking out publicly against Scientology have been blocked by them on Twitter. I just find it really funny that, look, here's my profile, 12 followers I've got. My account was only created this month, so it is less than 2 weeks old, and I put out a load of tweets yesterday, yes. However, it's not like the impact of what I'm tweeting about is going to have a huge impact on Scientology at this stage. They already feel threatened enough that they've just blocked me. So I can't see any of their tweets. Not that I particularly need to or want to, I wasn't following them or anything, but I just find it funny they see me as that much of a threat that they've just blocked me from seeing their tweets. Considering I work in marketing, so I have access to lots of different social media accounts, including my personal one that isn't Apostate Alex, it's not like I'm unable to see what they're tweeting about. You also don't have to be logged into Twitter to see a public person or company's tweets. So I could just log out and see all of their tweets. So this is more of a symbolic action, and I think it's a moment in my personal history of my battle against Scientology. So just wanted to share that with you. The other thing I wanted to talk about was one of the adverts that Scientology were paying to promote on social media yesterday. Now, paid campaigns reach more people than organic posts, so they would have put a buttload of money behind this particular tweet to get it seen by lots of people across the world. I don't know what the stats are, I can't see them because I'm not someone that works for Scientology anymore. However, you can see that it is promoted because it would come up in my feed multiple times throughout the day or throughout the Super Bowl match. And it's from their volunteer ministers account. Now, Scientology have this arm of, they call them Scientology volunteer ministers, which I'm going to be doing a separate video about, so I won't get into it in too much depth here. But basically, it's people who work in the churches and volunteers, members of the public who are Scientologists, that come out in full force in public sort of natural disaster zones, etc., to help out in whatever way they can. They'll wear big yellow jackets that say volunteer minister, and normally they're just handing out bottles of water and getting in the way of the emergency first responders who are actually dealing with the emergency and trying to help whoever is involved. Scientology volunteer ministers generally get in the way, and I can say this from personal experience because I was one during the London riots of 2011, 2010. I think it was 2011, which is what I'm going to do a separate video about. Anyway, that's what the volunteer ministers are. They have their own separate Twitter account, and they paid to promote this tweet yesterday, which is aimed at raising awareness of the Turkey earthquake that's happened recently, saying 128 hours buried, rescued alive, checked in the hospital, fed and bathed, smiling baby makes the heart happy in the midst of so much pain. Now, it's just this 5-second video, 10-second video of a baby that obviously has been rescued from an earthquake disaster zone in Turkey, which in itself is a great thing, and I celebrate that, and anyone involved in that disaster, natural disaster recovery and response is doing a great job and a valiant effort, and those guys should be thanked. However, this video has nothing to do with Scientology. It was outed on Twitter last night that this video is actually not from a baby that the Scientology volunteer ministers have rescued. It is just a video of a baby that has been rescued by somebody, and they're not exactly claiming word for word that this is a video of someone they've rescued. They are just sharing the knowledge that this baby has been rescued. However, the fact that they've paid for this to be promoted, personally, I think is just offensive and kind of insulting towards the people who actually have put their lives on the line to help people who are in, these horrible situations and stuck in this natural disaster zone. So I just think, maybe I haven't got the right mindset on this. Please do tell me in the comments below what you think, whether you think I'm wrong, but I think that by paying to promote this video, it makes it seem like this is a video of the work they are doing, and therefore you should support them and thank them for what they're doing, which actually distracts the attention away from the people who are doing good and who are helping in this natural disaster. Let me know what you think in the comments below. But that's just a little snapshot of what happened last night at the Super Bowl. Let me know what you think in the comments down below about the Super Bowl ad and what went on Twitter, and hopefully see you guys soon. If you haven't already subscribed, please do that. And also check out Mark Headley and Claire Headley on Blown for Good, Aaron Smith-Levin on Growing Up in Scientology, and of course Chris Shelton with his podcast, all on YouTube. Check them out, subscribe, and see you guys soon.